Hi, welcome to the CrafteeManatee. Today I'm going to be showing you how to work the single crochet stitch. This is a complete beginner guide, so if you are new to crochet, this is a perfect video for you. I'm going to be showing you step by step how to work the single crochet stitch. This is also a great video if you are an experienced crocheter and just want to revisit the single crochet stitch. I know it can get very overwhelming with all of the stitches out there, and this can be a nice little refresher for you as well. This tutorial is for the US single crochet stitch, which is the same as the UK double crochet stitch. This same stitch has a different name in the US and the UK, which I know is a little confusing, but the US single crochet stitch is the same as the UK double crochet stitch. In this tutorial, I'm just going to be calling it the single crochet stitch because I'm in the US, but if you are in the UK, just know that this is the same as the double crochet stitch in your patterns. With that said, you do want to make sure to look at the pattern that you're working on to make sure if it says US terms or UK terms, because that will change what stitches you're working pretty drastically. I have made the mistake in the past of not looking at the terms and completely crocheting something wrong. So make sure to check that before you start crocheting. Alright, so I'll go ahead and get started on showing you how to work the single crochet stitch. Today we're going to be working in bulky yarn and worsted weight yarn. I want to work the stitch in two different types of yarn just so that you can really see what it looks like in two different yarn types. We're going to start with the bulky yarn because it is easier to see the stitches, and then we will go on to the worsted weight yarn. Alright, so to start crocheting the single crochet stitch, first we have to make a foundation chain, and to do that we are going to make a slip knot, which is just taking the yarn, wrapping it around like this, and then you can reach your hands in and pull through. It's very simple, but this is what we are going to attach our hook to. So we are going to insert the hook into that loop and pull it tight. Next, we are going to make our chain. To make a chain, you are going to yarn over, and yarning over is just simply wrapping the yarn around your crochet hook, and then you're going to hook that loop and pull through. And that has made one chain. You can make any number of chain you'd like. If you're following a pattern, just look at the pattern and chain however many the pattern calls for. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to chain 10. So we are going to do that same thing 9 more times to get to 10 chains. So we are going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through, and we are going to continue doing that until we get to 10. Alright, so now we have our foundation chain and we are ready to work our first row of single crochet stitches. So for this row, we are going to insert our hook into the second chain from our hook. So we aren't going to try to insert it back into this first one, it would just be too tight. We're going to work into the second chain. Now this is going to change our total number of stitches. So remember we chained 10. Now we are going to work 9 single crochet stitches across, and that is going to stay the number for what we're working the whole way through. So if we chain 10, we're going to work 9 single crochet stitches every round. And then if we chain, say, 5, we're going to be working 4 single crochet stitches in every row. So keep that in mind. Your pattern will tell you how many to chain and then how many each row will be. But if you're making your own pattern, just remember that that starting chain is always going to be 1 longer. So with that said, let's go ahead and work our first single crochet stitch. We're going to work in the second stitch from the hook, and we are just going to insert into that chain. And then we're going to take that yarn tail and yarn over. So this is what it's looking like. You kind of have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to pull that yarn over through, and now you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again and pull through both loops. So that is our single crochet stitch. Let's go ahead and work into the next chain space. To insert into the chain space, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through again. And we are going to continue doing those steps all the way until the end of the row. All right, so now we are at the end of the first row. We worked a single crochet stitch into every chain, starting from the second chain from the hook. So now we have 9 single crochet stitches. At the end of this row, we are going to chain 1. We're going to always chain 1 at the end of a row because it helps give a little bit of space into your next row. It just makes the edges nice and clean and not too tight. So we've chained 1, and now we're going to turn our work. So we're just going to flip that over, and this is what it's looking like. Now this next row is going to be how we work all of the rest of the rows. It's a little bit different than that chain row because instead of just inserting into the chain, we are now inserting into a stitch. So we are going to skip that chain 1. That does not count as a stitch unless your pattern specifically says that it does count as a stitch, which it usually does not. But we are going to go ahead and insert our hook into that next stitch. And you want to make sure that you get both loops. So you see how there is a front loop here and a back loop? You want your hook to go under both loops. So it will look like that. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through both of those loops, and then yarn over again and pull through both of those loops. So we are going to just go ahead and continue doing that all the way across the row. So we're going to insert, make sure to get under both loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. We will just continue doing that. And there you go. That is how you work the single crochet stitch in bulky yarn. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch over to worsted weight yarn just so that you can see it on that as well. The bulky yarn was just a little bit easier to show you at first. Alright, so this is what the single crochet stitch looks like on worsted weight yarn. You can see it is a lot tighter, a lot smaller than the bulky yarn. Both of these are the same number of stitches across. I chained 10, so you can see the difference between the two and how it's a lot easier to see these stitches than these smaller ones. But we are going to go ahead and work a little single crochet square in worsted weight yarn as well. Alright, so I have switched yarns and I have switched hooks. So we are now using a worsted weight yarn, which means we need a smaller crochet hook. I'm using a 5mm, which is also the letter H. For the bulky yarn, I used an 8mm, which is the letter L. You always want to use the hook that your yarn recommends. So on your yarn packaging, it will recommend a hook. The pattern will also recommend a hook, so just follow those and you'll know which hook size to use. So we are going to do the exact same thing with the worsted weight yarn. We're going to make a loop and pull through to make that slip knot. We're going to insert our hook through and pull to cinch it on. Now, just like with the bulky yarn, I'm going to chain 10 stitches. So we're going to yarn over, chain 1, and continue that on for 10 chains. Alright, so now we have that chain 10 done. We are going to work our first row of single crochet stitches. So we are going to work into the second chain from the hook, insert into the chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through again, insert into the next, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. So we are going to continue doing this until the end of the row. Alright, so we are at the end of that first row. We're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn our work. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and work our second row of single crochet stitches. We're going to skip that chain 1 that we just made and work into the next stitch. Remember that you want to start going through both the front loop and the back loop at this point. So we want to insert our hook through the front and the back, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through again. So we are going to continue doing that. We have a insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the last two. We are now at the end of that second row. I'm going to work one more row with you. So we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and continue along single crocheting. So just like before, inserting through the front and the back loop, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2. So we are just going to continue that along. Alright, and that is how you work the single crochet stitch in both worsted weight yarn and bulky yarn. If you're going to learn just one single crochet stitch, make sure it's this one. You can do so much with a single crochet stitch. The possibilities are literally endless. Most crochet patterns call for a single crochet stitch, so it's the best one to learn. You can make scarves, entire blankets, all kinds of things out of just a single crochet stitch. You can even make the little stuffed animals like this guy right here. It just uses the single crochet stitch throughout the bare part of the body. So it's a very universal crochet stitch to learn. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed learning how to work the single crochet stitch. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more crochet tutorials and patterns in the future. You can find me on Instagram at the CrafteeManatee, and you can find all of my patterns on Ravelry, Rippler, and Etsy. Thanks for watching. Bye.